Good mid-morning, guys. Okay, still Friday, and I've got some information for you that you might want to take action on ASAP. We are all in a cold snap. We know that, okay? In case anybody doesn't know, it's supposed to get worse in about a week and a half. We're supposed to have a little bit of a warm-up here next week, and then it's supposed to get frigid, colder than it is now. We are having January weather in November, okay? And with the grand solar minimum and everything, we were all told to expect hotter summers and colder winters. Here's where the problem comes in. NERC, the North American Electric Reliability Corporation, came out last night, reported this morning in Bloomberg, and of course I'll link this below, that there is a power blackout risk for a quarter of the United States, okay? Those most at risk, Great Lakes area, Louisiana, all the way to the Carolinas, which would include me, and New England and Texas, okay? They're saying if we have cold snaps, there is not enough natural gas, coal, or diesel to meet the demand to heat houses. I'm not talking about trucks and trains, guys. I'm talking about heating oil. I'm talking about power, all right? This is the quote from the NERC. There is a very real possibility that New England could be facing a dire set of consequences this winter, okay? Just giving you this. Our electricity bills are up 47% over last year. 20 million households are behind on their utilities, and we are going into a cold winter. Now, somehow, some way, somewhere, y'all need to prepare for this, okay? And I know this gets into budgetary deals and everything, but do you have, at a minimum, a Mr. Buddy heater and some propane? Do you have plenty of blankets, anything like that? I mean, you start thinking about, it was 23 degrees here in Tennessee this morning. Now, granted, I'm in the house and the heat still works, okay? But imagine now the heat doesn't work. Well, it's not going to take minutes for the house to get cold. But let that happen for a few days, and all of a sudden it's 23 degrees in your house. Now, yes, you are uncomfortable, but then you also start thinking about pipes freezing, okay? Now you have damage, and that's something that you need to prepare for. In Michigan, in Montana, in Maine, y'all are prepared for stuff like that, okay? That pipes could freeze, whatever it would be. Your pipes are insulated. Down in Louisiana, in the Carolinas, down in Texas, not so much, okay? You have exterior pipes on the outside of the house that aren't even insulated down south. Been there, done that, lived there, okay? Lived down in Texas for 5 or 6 years, something like that, when I lived in Texas. 86 to 91, so 5 years, yeah. Do you have your backups taken care of for your power? Okay? I mean, you all know me. I've talked about and given away God knows how many solar generators, and there's more to come, okay? Have you gone out and got a gas generator, a dual fuel generator, whatever would be? Do you have the fuel? Have you gone and got a couple extra cans of propane? Have you gone and got yourself 20 gallons of gas or whatever? I mean, you figure your typical large generator is going to run somewhere around 6 to 8 hours on a tank of gas. Mine takes 5 gallons of gas. That would be about 8 hours on 5 gallons of gas. That means I need 15 gallons of gas to get through one day. That's why I keep talking about the solar generators, where I can use it to power it, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The last thing you want to be doing is making a bonfire outside to stay warm because it's too cold inside. But that may be where you be. Do you have the firewood cut up? Do you have the propane tank topped off? I've talked about this ad nauseum. I'm hoping you do. But you start looking at this information on what the government is telling us, what the Energy Commission is telling us, that there's a very real possibility that 25% of the people in this country could be cold, okay? Which is a polite way of putting could have the potential to freeze to death. Now, if you live in an apartment, if you live in the city, whatever, what is the apartment's backup plan? Do you know? Do they have a boiler? Do they have a generator that would keep the heat going? Okay. Do you know where warming centers are in your town? Okay. Sometimes it'll be the local YMCA. Sometimes it might be the local high school gym, whatever it would be. Do you know where those places to go? It behooves you right now to find out what areas in town have that backup source of power. Hospitals will get packed very fast, and they're not going to be real thrilled about loitering around. It might be worth a call to your township, to your city, to the mayor's office, to the county clerk, whatever, and say, where are warming centers planned just in case we have an extended power outage, just in case we have cold? This is serious stuff, guys. And this, again, is something, don't expect anybody to come bail you out. You know, you're looking at less workers for every company. I can't tell you how many things I've seen. I mean, Mike Rowe has been making the rounds lately saying that there's 7 million able-bodied men in this country not working, okay, that just don't want to. You've all heard the line of quiet quitting where, you know, the millennials, this is their big thing. Well, I'm just going to do the bare basic minimum, or I'm not going to work. You know, I'm at home and I'll just collect my paycheck. That extends to electrical line workers. Okay, we all see, like, the tornado or the hurricanes hit Florida, and we saw everybody run down from all sorts of other states to help put the power back on. That was great. Okay, that was all going to Florida. Now let's start talking about, we have a situation where it's not line workers, there's no fuel. You're not going to have a whole bunch of people all of a sudden be able to create natural gas. Gee, I'm sorry, we stopped fracking. Gee, I'm sorry, you're not going to have a whole bunch of people go in and say, let's go dig some coal, the war on coal, okay? Gee, you're not going to have a whole bunch of diesel fuel show up out of the middle of nowhere. Then the other thing to remember is, on the open market for the fuel that is available, we are competing with Europe right now for that fuel. The United States has been sending natural gas to Europe, and now we're hearing about us having a shortage to heat. Okay, this is something that you need to seriously concern yourself with. You need to have a solution. I've talked about this for months. I'm hoping that people all heeded the warning that I gave you going back to July, because now it's going to be late. And if you have the ability to find yourself a generator, a little buddy heater, I've showed you guys the wall unit I have for my backup for my house, something like that. Now is the time to do it, guys. It's not that much money, but it could be the difference between you freezing to death and living to see spring. Yeehaw. Pinball out.